welcome to the Woah Pony podcast. Thank you very much for joining me this evening at Riverside Radio, where we record this masterpiece that you're currently listening to. I was just saying in my brief introduction that I just had a very stressful 15 minutes wondering if I was in fact live. Parts of me were, parts of me weren't. However, now I'm hoping that I'm fully live, fully alive. There's someone listening outside and they will let me know if I am not. I'm going to revisit Bridezilla's Part 2 because last week it was very popular. You like drama, so why not roll with it? Why not live our wedding fantasies? Why not have a look at some of these, frankly, worrying stories? Some people just shouldn't get married, shouldn't have friends, should just be nicer people. I really don't. It upsets me as well because I don't have a boyfriend and I'm lovely. But these people are getting married and they're insane. So without further ado, I think we'll go on to our first little story that I found for you to have a good giggle at. It starts, I'm a 27-year-old woman and my fiancée Emily and I have been engaged for the last 2 months. Everyone important knows about us. Everyone important and is happy for us to finally be engaged. At least that's what I thought. Emily has been battling cancer for the last few months and because of chemo is bold. She has really bad self-esteem and confidence because of it, amongst other things, and hasn't really left the house since finding out about her diagnosis. A mutual friend of ours was engaged when Emily found out about her diagnosis and was originally asked to be a maid of honour, but now that she's bold, was asked to wear a wig to cover her bald head because it didn't suit her style of photography for her wedding. Right, okay, really going in there. Emily came home crying, obviously, after looking for bridesmaid dresses that she was demanded, which wigs to wear. That was a lot of W's. After looking for bridesmaid dresses, after she was demanded which wigs to wear by the bride and told me she felt uncomfortable about attending the wedding. I felt like this was rude and said to the bride that Emily was uncomfortable with her treatment, and her reply back was that she felt uncomfortable about a bold bridesmaid. And if she didn't wear the wig, she wasn't allowed to attend the wedding. Oh, God. We're going all in on the first story. I told her that we both wouldn't be attending, but now we have left her 2 bridesmaids short a week before her wedding. That's her problem. Who cares if she's 2 weeks short before the wedding? This is what I mean. Some people just shouldn't have friends. How can that possibly be your reaction? What's wrong with bald heads as well? I can't even comment too much on that one. That's just a little too upsetting. On to story number 2. I had a friend that threw a temper tantrum, complete with screaming and foot stomping, because her grandmother had... Sorry. Sorry, I've read forward. Her grandmother had the audacity to die a few hours before her wedding. She said it would throw off the seating arrangements because now there would be a big empty space. Oh. I'm sorry. That's horrible, but... Worked at a wedding venue. One event really sticks out to me. Everything went well until the cake. Bride and groom go to feed each other. She does it very nicely. He smashes it into her face. Okay. The bride screams, starts bawling her eyes out and runs out of the hall. 15 or so minutes later, the father of the bride comes and asks the DJ for the mic. Ooh. He proceeds to thank everyone for coming and says that if they would like to take their gifts on the way out, because the couple has decided to break up. I'm sure there were issues leading up to the event, but the bride had told everyone, including the groom, if he smashed the cake in her face, it was over. She wasn't lying. No, she wasn't lying. So how many hours would they possibly have been married for then? Ah, that's a record, isn't it? I'm sure there's probably records actually for the shortest marriage, but why would that be something that you'd have to make someone promise you that they're not going to smash cake in your face. On to the next one. My Bridezilla friend told me I wasn't allowed to take pain medication for my chronic illness at her wedding. She was afraid I'd be too out of it to perform my maid of honour duties from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m, which is a long time to be on your feet without a break and without pain medication. I agree, and I don't have a chronic illness. I'd take pain medication for that. I sent them off after their honeymoon and drove them 8 hours. Oh my goodness. I drove them 8 hours. I was miserable.
Oh, some people.
Why would you not... Okay, moving on. Oh, this... This next one just goes straight in there. She slapped me in the mouth in the restroom during the reception. She had this massive billowing pillow of organza as a skirt. It was beautiful but utterly impractically designed. That's like those... I'm envisioning the dresses that you get on sort of like My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, you know, when they come out of the horse and carriage, or like the Bentley, and they've got the big pillowy, billowy organza darling material. It was beautiful but utterly impractically designed. It took at least 3 of us to hold up her skirt so she could pee. She had been drinking on an empty stomach, classic, and on the second trip to the restroom, with all of us holding this dress, while she hovered drunkenly over the toilet, she couldn't see, so she ordered me to wipe her. Ordered.
Me.
To clean her up. I declined. She slapped me. The skirt was dropped by all parties while I shouted obscenities at her. She screamed that if I didn't do this for her, this friendship was over. She tried to apologise years later, but seemed surprised when I was not interested in rekindling our friendship. A, imagine being that drunk at your wedding. B, imagine slapping one of your best friends because they won't wipe you. And C, imagine having a dress that impractical for a very long day. I find that very silly. I don't know why some people do that. I think it's just a little bit too much. Well, that was a cracking way to start off our wonderful Bridezilla stories this evening. If you're listening to the podcast, watching on YouTube, we'll be right about